Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I shall be taking us in another aspect of chemistry, which is balancing of chemical equation. So today we'll try to see how we can balance a chemical equation. So like I always said, please make sure you go to the subscription box, click on it so that we keep updating you for our classes. So now, if we have this equation like this, most at times students find it difficult to balance this, most especially when it has to do with acid and base reaction or titration. So how do you balance the equation before you solve uh, for what they are asking you? So very, very important, because if you fail to balance it very well now, you will miss the answer for the question. Now, so if you're having something like this, how do you balance it? Now, in balancing, you need to know that what is in your left hand side, right hand side must be equal to what is in your right hand side. This is your left hand side, and this is your right hand side. So what is here must be equal to what is here. So let's check. The numbers of atoms of iron, oxygen, aluminium on this side must be equal to the one on this side. So that's what we mean by what? Balancing of a chemical equation. So can we bring these atoms one after the other and see how we can balance this equation? So can you see that the first atom here is iron, right? So we can just bring it down. I have Fe here, I have O here, I have O here, then we have what? Aluminium here. So how many atoms of iron is on this side? Do you understand? So that's how we balance. You check how many ions of iron is on this side, then how many are on this side. That's what we mean by balancing, because always saying that what is in this hand side must be equal to what is here. So now can we check? Iron, how many do we have here? This is 2. Oxygen, how many atoms of oxygen do we have? It's 3. So can you see that aluminium here is 1? So you just write 1 here. That's all. Then you come back to this side. What are the possible atoms that we have here? We have Fe, we have O here, and we also have what? Aluminium. So can we check this side? How many of these do we have? We have 1 here. This oxygen, how many do we have here? We have 3 here. Then the aluminium, we are having how many? We are having what? 2 on this basic side. So now, look at what we mean by, we say what is on this hand side must be equal to what is on this very hand side, right? Now, in looking at this, can you see that the iron here is 2, while on this side is 1. So you will see now, what number can you multiply this to have this very one, to have 2 here? What number can you multiply this one to have 2? Do you see? So now, if I use 2 here, if I multiply this number by 2, 1 times 2 will give me what? Will give me what? 2. Very, very important. So can you see that the number of iron here and here is balanced? So this one here, these 2 here, you are going to write it here like this. So you have 2 iron, 2 iron. So it means iron on your left hand side is equal to what is on your right hand side. This very one is what is balanced. So the next one I'm having here is oxygen. But as you can look at this very critically, then you will see that I have 3 of oxygen here and 3 here. So it means it's what is balanced. So there's nothing I can do to this equation again. Oxygen is balanced. Then I come back here. As you can see, I have aluminium here, which is 1, and I have 2 of the atoms of aluminium on this right hand side. So how do I make this one to become equal to this one? So if I want to make it now, I multiply this one by 2. So if I multiply this one by 2 I'm having 2 here, right? So if you have 2 here, 2 times 1 is what? 2. So it means the aluminum on this side is equal to the one on this side. Are we getting it? So now this very number, you now add it to this very side. So can you see that 2 iron here, 2 here is balanced. 3 oxygen here, 3 here is balanced. Then I have 2 aluminum here and 2 here. Your equation is balanced. So is it clear? And if you have any question to ask, please, you can just go to the comment to the comment side, then you ask your questions there. But let me repeat myself again. I say what is on this hand side must be equal to what is on this hand side. As simple as that. So can we look at another equation to see how we can balance? I believe this is clear. You can just go to the comment side and ask your question if there is any. So let us take another example. So if I have a reaction, that is a neutralization reaction. A neutralization reaction. A neutralization reaction is a reaction between an acid and a base to give us a salt and water. A reaction between an acid and a base to give us salt and water. For example, if I have something like so I have this reaction, for example. I have this very reaction, for example, that is sodium hydroxide reacting with tetraozosulfate 6 acid to give you this sodium sulfide and water. So now, how do you balance this? How do you balance this? And I told us the first step, or in balancing chemical equation, that what is on the right hand side must be equal to what is on the left hand side, right? So once you get that, you are on your one way on solving it. Now you have to bring out these atoms one after the other to make it balance. So as you can see here, that the first atom here is sodium, right? The first atom here is sodium. The second atom here is what? Oxygen. Then I have hydrogen. Then I have what? Sulfur. Sulfur. And this sodium, how many of sodium do we have here? I have only 1 here. Then how many hydrogen do we have here? How many hydrogen atoms? This is 1 here plus 2. That's hydrogen is how many? 3. Then how many oxygen do we have? I have 1 here plus 4 here. Makes it how many? 5. Then how many sulfur do we have? Sulfur here is just what? 1. You write it like this. Then you come back here again, bring out this same atom. You have sodium, you have oxygen, you have hydrogen, then you have what? Sulfur. So now, how many sodium do we have here? I have 2 sodium here. How many oxygen? It's still what? 5. Look at 4 here, plus 1 here, making 5. And how many hydrogen do we have? Just 2 atoms of hydrogen. Then sulfur, how many atoms? Just 1. So as you can see here, that we have 1 atom of sodium and we have 2 atoms of sodium here. 5 atoms of oxygen and 5 atoms of oxygen here. 3 atoms of hydrogen here, and we have 2 here. Then we have 1 atom of sulfur here, and we have 1 here. So can you see that the equation is not balanced? Sodium, you have 1 here and you have 2 here. It's not balanced. Oxygen is 5, 5. It's okay. Hydrogen is what? 3, 2. So it's not balanced. So we want to see how we can make this thing equal. Because as we said, that what is on the left hand side must be equal to what is in the right hand side. So now, you remember I told you that this is 2, this is 1. So what number can I multiply this one to give me this 2? I can multiply this one by what? 2. So if you multiply this by 2, you have what? 2. So sodium is 2. So you add the 2 here. Now, if you add these 2 here, it means you have 2 sodium. Now, the numbers of atoms of oxygen has changed, and that of hydrogen has also what? Changed. So now, oxygen on this side, these 2 that is here, is multiplying sodium, is multiplying oxygen, is multiplying what? Hydrogen. So it means I have 2 sodium here, I have 2 oxygen here, and I have 2 what? Hydrogen here. So can you see that the entire equation have changed? So it means oxygen here is no more 5. Oxygen is no more what? 5. So now, since I have 2 of oxygen here plus 4 here, it makes it to be what? 6 oxygen. Then let's come back to hydrogen. I have 2 hydrogen here. These 2, remember, is multiplying everything here. So these 2, it means I have 2 hydrogen. So 2 here plus 2 here. How many hydrogen do we have? It means we have how many hydrogen? 4 hydrogen. So can you see that everything here has changed? So now I have 6 oxygen here, and I have 5 here. It's not balanced. 4 hydrogen here, 2 here is not balanced. Then I have 1 sulfur here and 1 here is balanced. So what number can I multiply this hydrogen to make it 4 here? If I multiply this one by 2 now, it will be equal to 4. So can you see? If I multiply hydrogen by 2, it will be equal to what? 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. So then these 2 that I multiply now, and I will add it to this very side. Do you get that? I'll add it to here. So if I add it here, I'm going to be having 2 hydrogen, 2 here. That is this particular 2 here is multiplying hydrogen and is multiplying what? Oxygen. So I already have 2 atoms of hydrogen here. So if I say 2 times 2, it will give me what? It will give me 4. So can you see that the number of hydrogen is 4 here, and this one too is 4. So it means hydrogen is balanced. Now coming back to oxygen. Now look at the board very well. You can see that we have 2 here. We say 2 is multiplying hydrogen and is multiplying oxygen. So already I have 2 atoms of oxygen here. Can you see? 2 plus 4, which makes it what? 6. So if I check this equation very well, can you see? I have 2 atoms. I have sodium is 2 here, Oxygen is 6 here, is 6 here. Hydrogen is 4 here, and is 4 here. Sulfur is 1 here, and is 1 here. So my equation is what? Is well balanced.